Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to episode 44 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. The podcast where we sometimes cry, we always laugh, we might get a bit ratchet, but we're forever going to break it down. Hey guys, Happy New Year. I've missed it. I've missed talking to you. I've missed podcasting, but we are almost back for season 3. This is just a teaser, a trailer episode to get you guys excited again, to have your weekly dose of Boonie. Season 3 kicks off on Monday, February 5th. So next Monday, you'll get back into your weekly dosages of Boonie. And as requested, as I said in our season finale for season 2, we will be opening up season 3 with the outrageously, hilariously ratchet Brian. Yes, he's back. I don't know why you guys like him. I honestly don't even know why I like him. But he will be back. We will be doing a Valentine's Day special. I have 3 really good reader questions that I am going to pose to Brian, right? And we'll see what ridiculousness he responds back with. And I'll also give my feedback as well. But if you would like to have your question featured on the Valentine's Day special with Brian and myself, be sure to send me a DM. You can send an email to theboonieBreakdown@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail, and you can do the voicemails anonymously. Just head over to theboonieBreakdown.com, and on the side, you will see a button that says send voicemail. That's it. It's pretty easy. Type in your name, record it, 90 seconds, hit send. I get your voice, and it could be featured on that episode or a future episode of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. Guys, like I said, I'm really excited about season 3. And I've shared with you guys before that when I started a podcast, I really didn't put much thought into it. I'm one of those people that I just have to move when the spirit strikes, or I'm never going to do it. And so because I finally said I was going to do the podcast, I'm going to do it, I just did it. I ordered the mic on Amazon, and it wasn't much thought. It wasn't much planning. I was doing it as I was going along. And so someone asked me why I do seasons. And the reason I do seasons on the podcast is because it gives me a time to, one, be consistent with you guys, because it's nothing worse when you start to like something and it's inconsistent, right? So for consistency's sake and for my sanity, I need these built-in breaks. It gives me time to stop, readjust. In January, I could not do a podcast. I just could not handle it because I was one of the co-chairs of a girls' conference here in Baltimore that hosted over 200 young women in the area, and I could not have anything else on my plate. So that is why I do seasons. I hope that answers your question. Maybe when I get to the point where I get more help, or I can afford to get more help, or I can get an intern or something, then maybe we can go to a year-round schedule. But for right now, we will do seasons. All right. So for season 3, Monday, February 5th, next Monday, you'll get your little notification in whatever podcast app that you use. And so I can tell you the lineup for February. I'm pretty excited about it. So February 5th, we have Brian. We're doing Valentine's Day. And on February 12th, I have Jack Jones of Sugar Boutique. It is a sex store, or a sex positive sex toy store here in the Baltimore area. And that one, guys, I am so excited for you to hear that interview. It was really, really fun. February 19th, I have Lynette Richardson Hall, who is an OG wedding planner who was on reality TV before reality TV was even cool. So she's here because it's the end of engagement season soon, right? Right after Valentine's Day. So some of y'all might got some rings, or you're in the midst of planning something, or you just want some advice because you put a ring on your vision board. I hear y'all. I see it. Okay. So here's all the advice about wedding planning that you could need. And then we're going to close out the month on February 26th with Chrissy and Sheikah, right? So that's just February, okay? I've recorded so many great episodes. Your other podcast favorite, KG, my homie, my best friend, he'll be on the podcast. So don't you worry. I'm working on some really good stuff. I've answered all of your questions. And yeah, I just can't wait for you guys to listen. So before I get a little further, because I am going to do a little story time. It's going to be a short episode, just a little teaser. We're not doing the whole hour-long thing. But you will be excited. I said it in an episode with Chrissy and Sheikah. I'm going to say it again. 2018 will be the Boonie Breakdown Live. It's happening. I'm thinking late April, early May. So I'm just throwing that out there for you guys. If you're in the Baltimore area, or you want to plan to come to the Baltimore area, it will be in Baltimore. So I'm excited about that. Kind of feeling it out, but as soon as I have it nailed down, you guys will be the first to know. But I am thinking that time frame early summer, okay? Also, I do have a really cool event that I'm hosting in conjunction with the homie Kimmy over at Pish Posh Perfect, which is a really cool blog. You should follow her. She's revamping it right now, but you can go follow all of her adventures on social media. And I have her tagged on my social media. But we are hosting the Perfect Breakdown. Ain't that cute? A candlelight yoga wind down on Friday, February 23rd. From 6 to 8 p.m. You can purchase tickets. I will put the link in the show notes. And if you follow me on social media, which at this point you really should be, I don't know why you aren't yet, but the links are all there. And I really can hope you can join us. It will be an evening of Zen yoga, which is a different practice of yoga, some mindful meditation. And when we're done, we're going to have a wind down. So it will be libations, some little small treats. And so I really hope to see you guys there. We're planning and trying to curate curate a series of events. We always see these really cool events that happen in other cities, and nothing ever really happens like that in the Baltimore area. And so that is what Kimmy and I are looking to do. So we hope that you can join us for our very first one in February. So look at me, guys, stepping out of the comfort zone, bringing some events. But the really big one that I'll be working on next is the Boonie Breakdown podcast live. So be ready to get your tickets. So in the last little bit of housekeeping stuff, I will like to encourage all of you to follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. You can find me Instagram and Facebook, The Boonie Breakdown. And on Twitter, I am Boonie Breakdown. You can start using the hashtags, The Boonie Breakdown or the hashtag pod. And I hope that you use them both because they serve two different purposes. But I love it. I've seen the screenshots and the Insta Snap stories. So you can tag me to those and I will be sure to reshare and send my gratitude of you spreading the word about the Boonie Breakdown podcast. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to do some story time with Boonie because unless you follow me on Snapchat, which I have like a fairly small population that does on Snapchat, you missed this incredible, ridiculous, only could happen to me story, okay? And so I felt the need, and everyone who kind of watched it on my Snapchat was like in disbelief, like, oh my God, you have to do this on your podcast, right? And so I'm like, okay, sure, I'll share it because it is really one of those things that it's like, oh my God, that really happened? Like, really? That really happened? So on January 2nd, I was supposed to return to work after New Year's, but after partying on New Year's Eve, I had turned off my alarms and to go to work. And so I missed, and I forgot to turn them back on. So I overslept. By the time I woke up, it was too late to go to work, so I just called out. And January 2nd actually turns out to be the anniversary of my mom's fiance's passing. And so he passed on January 2nd about 4 years ago. And so ever since he's passed, somehow I end up always being off, whether I take off or I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going in today. And so today, no, on that day, it was no accident. I did not go into work. And so I honestly had forgotten in the morning what the day actually was. So my mom, I'm like, all right, let's go out to lunch. We can go to the grocery store. We do all this stuff and then, come back home. And so some of you'll know now, but my mom happens to live with me at the moment. And so we go out, do all that stuff. We come back home and we had a meeting to go to that evening. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to crank out this work really quick. And then I'm going to take a nap before the meeting. So I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and I have my laptop on my lap and I look in my peripheral vision, I see something move. And I'm like, holy shit. I've been in my house almost 7 years. I haven't had any mice, any rodents, any bug problems. I was getting pissed. And I only thought that because the house next door, the people moved out and they're renovating. And so I'm like, oh God, of course this would happen now. So I'm sitting there, I finished typing on the computer and I decide to like look and see what it is. And I look over and guys, I screamed. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, it's a bird. And she's like, what? And I get up. And as soon as I like put my foot down on the floor, the damn bird flew away, right? And I'm like, oh my God, it's a bird, it's a bird. And I slammed the door shut. My bedroom door. And my mom is like, what? What's happening? What's happening? So my mom, this is how ridiculous it is. She's across the hall and she FaceTimes me. So we're both like locked in our rooms with the doors. And I'm like, Mom, it was a bird. She's like, are you sure? Are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it was a bird. Like I saw a big ass black bird. And like when I looked at it, it looked up at me kind of like, hey, bitch. And then I screamed and stood up and it flew away. So I'm like, well, let me call somebody because I'm not leaving out my room. Like, no. So I call KG, right? And he's like, what? Are you crazy? Just like go open your front door and let the bird out. And I'm like, what? It's not that simple. Like, you're of no help. Hang up. So I literally call my little brother. And so I'm like, he doesn't live too far from me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sending an Uber. You're coming over here. I need your help. So I send the Uber for him. My mom then proceeds to like FaceTime me back. And she's like, girl, are you sure? You sure it was a bird? And I'm like, Ma. Like, I know what I saw. It flew away. It was a goddamn fucking bird. I don't know how the bird got in here, but I saw a damn bird. So all of a sudden, I'm like, Ma, shut up. You could just hear, like, you hear shit. I'm like, you hear it? You hear the motherfucking bird? And she's like, oh my God, I hear it. And I'm like, I told you it was a bird in here. So at this point, I still don't know exactly where the bird is in the house, but I know it's upstairs. And I'm like, oh my God, it's really a bird. So I'm looking on the Uber app, like tracking it, like, oh my God, the Uber is like 3 minutes away, like, hurry up. Then all of a sudden I hear this big, like a thud. And I'm like, well, what the hell was that? And then you hear water. And it's like you hear like flapping in water. And I'm like, oh my God, the bird is in the toilet. Like the bird is in the toilet. Oh my God. So it's in the bathroom. So my mom's like, go out there and shut the bathroom door. And I'm like, no, you go out your room and shut the door. So I'm still, all this is happening. I'm tracking the Uber and now the Uber is like a minute away. And I'm like, oh my God, hurry up. But at the same time, I'm in the group me talking to Kimmy and my friend Tony. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like a bird. I'm also on Snapchat doing all this because in this day and age, it didn't happen unless you document it, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, like, and it was happening. And people are like, don't let the bird drown. Don't let the bird drown. Well, what the fuck I'm gonna do? I'm not getting the bird out the motherfucking toilet. So I look, finally, my brother's downstairs. Fortunately, I have an alarm system where I can unlock the door from my phone. So I unlock the door. Then I'm like, you know what? I don't trust that nigga. I don't trust my brother. So I got up and locked my bedroom door because if he brought that bird in my room, I would have fought my brother. I swear to God, I would have laid hands on him. So all this is happening. He comes upstairs. He's like, where? I'm like, just go in the bathroom. We heard it in water. It was like in the toilet. Next thing I know, my brother is like, ah! And I'm screaming like, what's happening? What are you doing? And my brother's like, that bitch dead. And I'm like, what? And he's like, the bitch is dead. A bird fucking drowned in my toilet. Okay. Like, how does this happen? Like, and that's all I kept thinking. And so my brother's like, well, how am I get it out the toilet? I'm like, go downstairs in the kitchen, get some tongs out the drawer. When you get the tongs out, just throw them out with the fucking bird. Like, we don't got time to keep them. Just throw everything out, take it in the alley, throw it in the trash can. So he goes downstairs, he goes to get it, and he pulls the bird out of the toilet. Okay. The bird is huge. It was like a fucking big ass black crow. Now, how I think the bird got into my home was I have a huge skylight in my bathroom. And at one point, it was tied. It had like a rope and it tied to a hook on the wall. And it kind of just like, to keep the skylight closed. When I looked, my brother and I looked, the cord was cut, but there was no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it was no rope on the floor. So if the cord has snapped, it should have been on the floor, like the laws of gravity. We all learned this in school. Why was there no rope on the floor? Don't know. Still don't know where this rope went. So my brother and I, we leave. We go back. We go to Lowe's to get a step stool and some more rope to tie this closed. So how I think is the bird, since the skylight was open, it was able to come into the skylight, and the noise I heard initially was it trying to get back out, but the way it tilts, if he was hitting it, I think he flew up too hard, hit itself, knocked itself out, fell into the toilet, which is kind of like right underneath, and then could not get out of the toilet and subsequently drowned. So RIP to the bird. I think it was a fucking crow, honestly. It was a huge black bird. I'm going to figure out, I downloaded the Snap story. I'm going to figure out how to like put this in a way that you guys can see it, because I don't think you believe me. Or for at least I will put the picture of the crow in the toilet as proof that this really happened. So to remind you guys, when I started this story, I said that it happened on January 2nd, which was the anniversary of my mom's fiance's passing, okay? So naturally, I wanted to know, what the fuck did it mean for a bird to come into your home? And then what did it mean to cross paths with a dead bird? So naturally, I looked it up, and it said an old wives' tales from the Ozarks and other regions in the U.S. say that certain birds flying into your house are a bad omen, particularly turtle doves. It said you need to pay attention to the bird. Was it free? Was it looking around your house calmly? What kind of bird was it? Could the bird be that of an ancestor or a deceased loved one was a fan of? Maybe one of your loved ones or deceased loved one is trying to send you a message through the bird. Is the bird trying to get out of your home? Maybe it's telling you to free yourself from the box that you've put yourself in. Not every bird in the house has to be an ill omen. It's similar to the death card in a deck of tarot cards, which can mean both a change or an end, but not necessarily a death. You don't have to take it in a literal sense. Maybe there's an underlying message to it that you didn't see at first. And so then I asked, what does a dead bird symbolize? And if you've seen a dead bird, it may feel like a bad sign, but it can actually be a good sign, showing the end to turmoil or pain is coming. A dead bird doesn't necessarily portend to physical death, but a metaphorical death. And perhaps you're going through the heartache of a breakup. Perhaps you're struggling to find a job. And this dead bird marks the end of your search and your struggle. A new beginning is just around the corner. Did y'all hear what I said? If you go back to episode 22, I talked about some of the bird and some of the struggle that I was, dealing with some of my family. And so for right now, my mom is unemployed and she's been living with me and she's been looking for a job and she's just been having a difficult time with that. And to see this and for it to happen on the anniversary of her fiance's passing, I'm just like, oh my God, it was so creepy. It's like such a good sign. And I kid you not, my brother and I did the hucklebuck in my hallway because it was like, oh my God, the struggle is over. And it was just like, what in the world? I know some people who wrote me after they watched it on my Snapchat and was like, oh, I've had a bat come in my house and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell y'all this. If a bat had come into my fucking house, I would have packed up and moved out this bitch for 3 days. Okay, let me tell you that much. I would not have come back into this house until it was exterminated. The people had come in here and checked everything out. But I also know that I will be getting the skylight sealed shut right now. Right now it is tied so nothing can get in. The rope is still there. I check it every morning because I honestly do not know what happened to the other rope. I also have still not found any broken rope on the ground. So who knows? Okay. But the skylight will be getting sealed shut professionally and permanently very soon. So like I said, I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to at least show you the dead bird in the toilet so you can see the size of it. But if I can show you the real-time Snapchat video footage of this, you will get an amazing laugh. It is kind of hilarious when I look back on it. But what a sign. What a story. And I had to share it with all of you guys who do not follow me on Snapchat, okay? All right, guys. So that is it for story time. That is it for the season 3 trailer. Again, I can't wait for you guys to hear the official start of the season on Monday, February 5th. So be sure to mark your calendars and add the Boonie Breakdown back into your podcast rotation. If you enjoyed this episode or you enjoy any episode you've ever listened to, I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, or any podcast app that you love listening to your favorites on, okay? I've been checking out some additional podcast apps like Castbox, which I've seen some of you or many of you listen to it on as well. Don't forget to leave a review too. You can leave your review on Apple Podcasts, Castbox, and or our Facebook page. You might just hear your review on the next episode of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. Follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook, the Boonie Breakdown, Twitter, Boonie Breakdown. Share the episode with people that you love, people you don't love. I don't care. Just get the word out. I appreciate it. Have a dope ass week. Thank you for listening. See you on Monday, February 5th for season 3 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. Until next time.